Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurubhe Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsha Shrirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatamvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sanalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, welcome all for today's Bhagavad class. We are in chapter number 6, and till now we saw um the different levels of Ashtanga Yoga, that is Yoga Aruruksha, the beginning stage, and Yoga Aruda. There are Yama, that is don'ts, Niyama, that is do's, then Asana, that are bodily exercise, Pranayam, breathing exercise. Pratyahara means withdrawing the sense objects, and Dharana, then fixes on mind on Lord's form. Dhyana, that is intense meditation, and Samadhi, that is complete absorption. And then we saw about how mind is both a friend and enemy. So it is controlled, then it becomes a friend, otherwise it's an enemy. And then we saw the symptoms of the person in the yoga Aruda stage. So that is the advanced stage. And then we saw the stages of Ashtanga Yoga practice, the beginning stage, how the practices start and the basic things. And the goal also we saw. And we saw the recommendations in Ashtanga Yoga that do not eat too much or little, do not sleep too much or too little, and that is regulations. So we saw this regulation part also. And now we are in verse number 18, where we'll see the perfectional stage of Ashtanga Yoga. What does it involve and what is there? So let's recite the verse. यदा विनीयतं चित्तम् आत्मनि एवावतिष्ठते निष्प्रः सर्वकामेभ्यो युक्त इति उच्यते तथा. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, is said to be well established in yoga. So, and there are two, three things written in. First is discipline in mental activities or consciousness. So this is the most important thing. If the mind is not there in the practice, then one cannot achieve perfection. When we also chant our japa and all, our mind should be there. Otherwise, it's difficult. And then devoid of all material desires. So there should be no material desires. And basically, mind also wanders because of material desires only, because we have so many desires. So he's said to be well situated in yoga. So these three things, discipline, mental activities, fixed in self or transcendence, and then devoid of material desires. Then these three things are given in this verse and further are given in different verses. So the activities of the yogi are distinguished from those of an ordinary person by the characteristic cessation from all kinds of material desires, of which sex is the chief. So how do you know a person is practicing yoga or not? So his material desires will gradually reduce, and the chief of which is sex desire. So gradually all the desire will reduce. That means he is progressing in his spiritual life. A perfect yogi is so well disciplined in the activities of the mind that he can no longer be disturbed by any kind of material desire. So generally, when we chant or when we do some things with a switch or material, what happens is in between some thought comes, oh, let me check this mail or let me eat this or let me see this. and we get disturbed and we take a mobile or we take a outside. So yogi is such that the mind will definitely say something, but he is not disturbed because he will not look after that desire of the mind. Like the example is given of the ocean, which remains calm even if so many rivers and waters are coming in the ocean, but still it remains calm. So many desires come in the mind, but still a devotee of the Lord remains calm. He does not uh, check all these desires or fulfill desires. He just let it go. And that is the only way of calming the mind. So some people say that we should try to fulfill the desire of the mind and this way it will calm. It will never happen because the mind will definitely go on desiring more and more and more. The easiest way is to not uh, to just ignore the mind, and that is the only way. Uh, this perfection stage can automatically attained by person Krishna consciousness as stated in Sri Bhagavatam. So Prabhupada, what is he do? So wherever some such verses come, he gives an equivalent of devotional size. How a devotee will act in this such way, or how a devotee can attain such perfection by devotional practices. So here he's giving the example of Ambrish Maharaj. So in Canto 9, Chapter 4, 18-20 verses, he says how each and every senses of a devotee can be engaged in devotional service. Savai mana Krishna padara vindayor vacham sivai kunda gunanu varnane karau harer mandire marjanadishu shrutim chakarachyute satkathodaye mukunda lingalaya darshane dishau tadvritya gatra smisha anga sangamam granam cha tatta pada saroja saurabe Srimat Tulsaya Rasanam tad arpite पादौ हरे क्षेत्र पदानुसर्पणे शिरो ऋषिकेश पदाभिवन्दने कामां च दास्य न तु कामकाम्यया यथो उत्तम श्लोको जनाशयारति. So how different senses of body can be engaged. So King Ambrisha first of all engaged his mind in the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna. Then one after another, he engaged his words in describing the transcendent qualities of the Lord, his hands in mopping the temple of the Lord, his ears in hearing the activity of the Lord, his eyes in seeing the transcendental form of the Lord, his body in touching the bodies of devotees, his sense of smell in smelling the scents of the lotus flowers offered to the Lord, his tongue in tasting the tulsi leaf offered at the lotus feet of the Lord, his legs in going to the places of pilgrimage and the temples of the Lord, his head in offering obeisances unto the Lord, and his desires in executing the mission of the Lord. All these transcendent activities are quite befitting a pure devotee. So this is the way how each and every limb of a devotee should be engaged in the long run. So if one wants a perfection in devotional service, this is the only way. Because if one of the senses remain unengaged or drifts from doing the prescribed devotional service, then it has the power to take away all other senses or the mind, everything. So, like if we see examples of how one single sense can drive a animal or a person mad. Like we see the moth. The moth likes to see the form, but then he enters into fire and kills himself. Similarly, we see elephant. Just by touch, what does uh, the person who wants to catch the elephant, what does he do? He puts the she elephant there, and beside the she elephant, there's a big ditch made, a big hole is made, and when the he elephant goes there, the she elephant pushes him the ditch, and he's being caught. So similarly, even one single sense, like the fish is caught because of the tongue. So some fleshy item is given in the bait, and the fish tries to eat. Because of that one sense, she gets caught. So for devotees also, even if one of the senses remain unengaged or is going different direction, then what will happen is he will be caught again the Maya. And therefore, each and every limb, each and every material sense has to be engaged in devotional service. And therefore, Ambrish Maharaj actually is not an ordinary person. He was the king of whole kingdom. Sometimes devotees say that we don't have time and how will we do so many things. But if we see the example of Ambrish Maharaj, he was the king of whole planet. That time there was nothing like India, America, different planet. Whole whole Bharat was whole planet was under one king, and therefore to manage the affairs of the whole king was not so easy. But King Ambrish Maharaj was so expert that he had employed ministers for doing this management affair, and what he was himself doing was only devotional service. So, a devotee, a manager devotee, is one who can manage things in a way that he can have maximum time for doing his devotional service. That is the perfect management. If the person has no time for his devotional service, or he doesn't cannot remove time, then his management is not perfect, or there is lot of lack in his management. And therefore, uh, this example of Ambrish Maharaj is very apt. And in this way, if one tries, then one can easily go back to Godhead and easily can attain the perfectional stage of devotion. So, this transcendental stage may be inexpressible subjectively by the followers of the impersonalist path, but it becomes very easy and practical for persons in Krishna consciousness. So, this transcendental stage may not be attained by impersonal people, but it is good for devotees. As apparent about description of the engagements of Maharaj Ambrish. Unless the mind is fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord by constant remembrance, such transcendental engagements are not practical. See again, the mind should be fixed on lotus feet, and that is by constant remembrance. So it is movement by movement. So somebody says, I have surrendered to Lord. So one time surrender is not enough. Surrender is moment to moment surrender. So 1 second we may have thoughts of Krishna. Oh, I will go to Vrindavan and I will do this. But other second we may have thoughts of Sangha vision. That, oh, I will go to Vrindavan and eat that pani puri and dosa and what I don't know. So that doesn't mean that we have surrendered. No, it's a second to second. It's a moment to moment. And every moment we need to find out how we can surrender, how we can surrender. And in this way, we can achieve complete surrender. So it's a long process and it's a moment to moment process. Such engagements are not practical. In the devotions of the Lord, therefore, these prescribed activities are called archana, or engaging all the senses in the service of the Lord. So archana means worshiping the Lord, and in this way we engage all the senses to service the Lord. The senses of the mind require engagements. Simple abnegation is not practical. It is very important. The senses of the mind require engagements. So if we don't engage them in devotional service, then it will automatically engage in material services. And therefore, we should be very, very pakka, very sure. Yena kena prakare, somehow or other, we should try to engage our senses and mind in some or other spiritual activity. That is the practice. And therefore, we see in India, if you see the bigger temples like Jagannath Puri, out of 365 days, 360 days they have a festival. Today, now the Rath Yatra is going on, so different days, different activities go on. Then after some time, another festival will come, and in this way, every day there is festival. So Utsav means coming up, and Sav means negativity. So Utsav means coming out of negativity. So the mind and the senses require continuous engagement, and therefore, uh, the temples were set in a way that there will be festivals every time, and in this way, people will be engaged every day doing this, and this way they will be happy. And simple application is not practical. So just telling that, oh, I will not engage anything, not engage anything, not do anything, it is not practical. We also know that if we tell somebody, no, do not do this, not do this, then the mind will definitely go there and do the wrong things. And therefore, a simple thing is to engage the mind and senses in some practical activity. The people in general, especially those who are not in the ordinary sort of life, transcendental engagement of the senses in the mind, as described above, is the perfect process for transcendental achievement, which is called yukta in the Bhagavad Gita. So those who are not in renounced order, for them this engagement is good. And for renounced order also, they also do all these engagements naturally, because in temples also when we stay, then we daily worship the deity, chant his holy name, then serve the devotees, take prasadam, and then we smell the tulsi flower, the plant, and also taste also. So this all is done. So this yukta. Yukta means balance, or yukta means which is good to engage in. So now the example given us of in verse number 19, how the yogi mind is completely steady. It doesn't waver. So the example is given of a lamp, which we'll see in this verse number 19. Yatha deepo nivate so ningate sopama smita yoginu yata chittasya yunjato yogamatmana. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. So generally, the lamp cannot keep itself lit, or we cannot keep the lamp lit in a where a place where there's a wind going on. It will always get off. But where there is no wind, at that place the lamp will not waver. Similarly, the person whose mind is controlled will remain steady. So sometimes the devotees or somebody asks that how to remain steady in devotional service. So one of the easiest option is to do same things on same time every day. If the place is same, if the time is same and the activities are same, then gradually what happens is the mind will not disturb. The mind will be trained in a way where it will do the same things every day. And in this way, it will not bother us. And this is the way of controlling the mind, to do the things specifically in the same time, same place, and every day, regularity. So this is the way it goes. A truly Krishna conscious person always absorbed in transcendence, in constant undisturbed meditation on the worshipful Lord, is as steady as a lamp in windless place. So truly Krishna conscious person means one who's absorbed in Krishna, uh, who's absorbed in transcendence. So such a person will not be disturbed. So one of the tests we can ask in devotional service, or we can know how much we are progressing devotional service, is how much are we disturbed by regular day-to-day activities, by our meetings, by somebody abusing us, by somebody neglecting us, or by somebody uh, doing bad to us. How much are we disturbed by this all things? So this will say how much are we engaged in devotional service. If somebody is totally engaged in devotional service, if his goal is clear that I want to go back to Godhead, then he will not be disturbed by temporary circumstance, temporary things, and temporary subject matters. So one who is fixed in goal will not see the obstacles on the road. The one who is not fixed in goal, the one who does not have the goal of going back to Godhead or meeting Krishna, for him he will see so many obstacles. And therefore, we should test ourselves whether we are in that level or not. So now this 20 to 23 verse will also have more relation of perfection in Ashtanga Yoga, how the person in Ashtanga Yoga sees things and does things. So this will be described in verse number 20 to 23. यत्रो परमते चित्तं निरुतं योगसेवया यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति सुखम् आत्यन्तिकं यत्तद् बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियं वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायं स्थितिश्चलति तत्त्वतः यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभं मन्यते नाधिकं तत् यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन गुरुणापि विचाल्यते तम विद्या Yukha samyoga Vyogam yoga samnitam. It's the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi. So we saw the different age stages. So dharana is a place when we fix the mind on Lord's form. Dhyan is intensified meditation, and then one reaches complete absorption, which is called trance or samadhi. So in the perfection stage called trance samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from mental activities by practice of yoga. So at this stage, one completely distanced themselves from all the material mental activities. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. So here one can see himself that who am I? Like one is observer, and one can relish and rejoice in the self. So one did not need any external validation, external happiness. So this is a stage where we should reach where we are happy internally. We do not look for external happiness. So people who look for external happiness, external recognition, or appreciation uh, are generally not reached to the stage, and most of times they are morose, depressed because most of times will not get external validation. But one who is sees this pure mind and enjoys himself will be the most happy. In that joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness, realized through transcendental senses. So, see, in that stage only, one can be happy. So many people in this world wants to become happy. But if we see the statistics, they say that we want to become happy, but actually they don't want to become happy. Otherwise, they will start devotion service very easily. And what is the proof that we don't want to become happy or our mind is constantly looking for unhappiness or sadness? So we see that so many newspapers are printed every day. So many news channels are giving news every day. And most of the news or most of the newspaper give information which is not good. Like somewhere there's a bomb sport, somewhere there's some criminal activity going on, somewhere there's some gafla done or say that. And every day such news are being printed. And every day so many newspapers are being sold. There is no loss of business in TV and newspaper. So what does it mean? It means that people want to hear negativity because these news channel papers and this newspaper people are not they are not mad after printing all this matter. Whatever sells they will sell. Whatever is helping to increase the TRP they will do. So people are consuming such large amount of negativity every day, and because of that this newspaper are printing because they want money. Ultimately their aim is to earn money. And if from today, if nobody hears such newspapers or nobody reads such newspapers or does something, then gradually the newspaper person and the TV channel will change. But still now, for so many years, they have not changed. What does it mean is people say we want to become happy, anand, but internally, most of people want to remain sad. That is because that is the act of the mind. If something sad is going, then so okay, this is going on, this is going on. But if we say chant Hare Krishna and be happy, chant Radha's Nam, chant Sri Ram Ji, they will not do because that they don't want. And that is the reason that in that joyous state, one situated in boundless sense happens. That time, what will happen? One will be internally happy, and this will realize to transcendence. So, established thus, one never departs from the truth, and upon getting this, he thinks there is no greater gain. So, if one is established in this, then what happens is one will always stay in the path of devotional service, and then he will think that there is no greater gain. So, people will not look after mundane gain or everything because if one gets spiritual taste, then that is the best of all. Being situated in such a position, one is never shaken in the midst of greatest difficulty. So if we see Bhagavad Gita in chapter 2, when Krishna starts speaking, so when Arjuna says that I lost my composure. Now I'm a disciple of yours. Please instruct me. The first instruction which Krishna gives is you are not this body, you are spirit soul. And you are talking like a Pandita, but you are not Pandita. So when a person is happy, he's situated on the soul platform. And the soul has the qualities of Sachidan. It cannot be destroyed, it cannot be cut, it cannot be dried. Nothing can be done. And therefore, being situated in such a position, so in the position of soul, one is never shaken and is in the midst of greatest difficulty, one is always happy. And Krishna also says that one should not lament for the living nor for the dead. That means one should always be happy. One should never be sad for anything which happens in this world. Uh, One should not be unhappy. So sometimes so many people ask that if you are all practicing devotional ways, why such things happen to you, or why there's accident, why devotees die, or something. No, their body goes, but their soul is always remain, and therefore we should never lament. We should never be happy. And if one has such understanding, then world will never be shaken the greatest difficulty. So when there is a loss of near and dear one, when there is some accident, then one will not be shaken because one is on this situation. And this is the greatest problem in today's world. Something happens and one gets disturbed. And therefore, if one practices devotional service, then he will be very stable. This indeed is the actual freedom from all miseries arising from material contact. So this is called actual freedom. The people who are talking today of freedom that we can do whatever we want and all, actually they are not free because they are being dictated by the direction of the mind, and therefore they are never free. But actual freedom will come when one is situated in this position, and then he is free from all miseries arising from material contact. Purport, by practice of yoga, one becomes gradually detached from material concepts. So, how does one know that one is doing good practice or not? The test is, are we gradually getting detached from material concepts? All the material things, are we getting detached? Detachment does not mean that we give up responsibility. We do our responsibility very well, but at the same time, we are not attached to the things. So, this is a primary characteristic of the yoga principle. And after this, one becomes situated in trance or samadhi, which means that the yogi realizes the super soul through transcendental mind intelligence without any of the misgivings of identifying the self with the super self. So here, one becomes situated in trance, and therefore he realizes that there's super soul inside our heart. So everybody has super soul in his heart. So the soul and super soul are sitting next to each other, but the soul is being always attached to enjoying his senses and all. So he's attached to senses, and therefore he never sees the super soul. But after when he uh, realizes super soul to transcend mind intense, what happens is all his misgivings are gone, and he identifies that I am self and I am there's God and all super self. The yoga practice is more or less based on the principles of Patanjali system. So all the yoga sutras, and if you see the Patanjali yoga sutras and Patanjali system, we know. So these are all based on Patanjali system. Some unauthorized commenters try to identify the individual soul with the super soul, and the monists think this to be liberation. But they do not understand the real purpose of Patanjali system of yoga. So again, here Prabhupada is saying how one should not become a Mayavad, or one should not say that the soul can become super soul, or one will be merging into the transcendence or Brahma Jyoti. So this will never happen. The soul will remain soul wherever he is. So he'll always uh, be subordinate to super soul or Krishna. He can never become Krishna. This is the one thing we should always take care. They do not accept, but the monists do not accept transcendental presence out of fear of jeopardizing the theory of oneness. So they will not say this transcendental presence. Why? Because otherwise their theory that we and God is one will be in a problem. The duality of knowledge and knower is not accepted by the non-dualist. But in this was the transcendental pleasure realized the transcendental senses is accepted. And this is corroborated by the Patanjali Muni, the famous exponent of the yoga system. The great sage declares in the Yoga Sutras 3.34 Purushartha Sunyanam Gunanam Prati Prasarva Kaivalyam Sarupa Pratishtava Chitti Shakti Riti. This Chitta Shakti or internal potency is transcendental. So here it is said that Chitta Shakti is transcendental. Purushartha means material religiosity, economic development, and at the end attempt to become one with the Supreme. So this is Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So this is material dharma by which, so why does people do dharma? So that Artha can come. Actually, Artha should be spent for dharma. But what do people do is they uh, work hard for the Artha so that they do the dharma so that they can get some Artha. And by getting Artha, what they do, the money which they get, they do sense gratification. So actually, the reverse which devotees should do. The oneness with the Supreme is called Kaivalyam by the monist. But according to Patanjali, this Kaivalyam is an eternal or transcendental potency by which the living entity becomes aware of his conscious position. So this oneness is called Kaivalyam by the monist, that will all become one. But Patanjali says that it's eternal transcendental potency. That is, one becomes aware that I am soul and there is super soul, and one develops that relation with the Lord. In the words of Lord Chaitanya, this state of affairs is called Cheto Darpanam Majanam, or clearance of the impure mirror of mind. This clearance is actually liberation, or Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So we saw this Chaitanya Chistashram verse in Chaitanya Chaitamrit, last chapter it comes. So this says that how by chanting what happens is the mirror, the Cheto Darpana mirror, the mirror of the heart gets clear and cleared. So impure mind will become cleared. So this is the power of the holy name. And this clearance is called liberation. So gradually, if everything becomes clear, then what happens is even situated in this material body will become liberated. So our Bhava Mahadava Nirvana, this theory of nirvana also primarily corresponds to the principle in the Bhagavatam. This is called Swarupena Vyavasthita. The Bhagavad Gita also confirms this situation in this verse. So after nirvana or materialization, there is a manifestation of spiritual activities or devotion service to the Lord, known as Krishna consciousness. So nirvana means that doing no material activities or cessation of activities. So we cannot remain idle. So then what happens is the spiritual activities manifest. In the words of Bhagavatam, Swarupena Vyavasthita, this is the real life of the living entity. Maya religion is the condition of spirit life contaminated by material infection. Liberation from material infection does not mean destruction of the original eternal position of the living entity. So again, Prabhupada is saying here that liberation of material infection means giving up this material body and material consciousness, but the original living entity is never destroyed. His position always remains the same. That is, Jivera Sarup Hoy Krishna Re Nityadas. That is, we are always eternal servant of Krishna. And sometimes when we say that we are servant of Krishna, many people ridicule us that why do you want to serve, not boss. But the actual thing is that that is our constitutional position, and we will remain always happy if we are servant. In this world also, when we serve selflessly, doing any job like feeding some beggars or doing any work selflessly, then we are happy. So in this way, if we selflessly serve the Supreme Lord, why will we not be happy? We'll be supremely happy. And therefore, this is our constitutional position. And this is also confirmed. So, Patanjali also accepts this by the word Kaivalyam Sarupa Pratisthita Vachiti Shakti iti. This Chita Shakti or transcendental pleasure is real life. This is confirmed in the Vedanta Sutra as Anandmayo Abhyasat. This is natural transcendental pleasure is the ultimate goal of the yoga and is easily achieved by execution of devotional service or bhakti yoga. So bhakti yoga will be really described in the seventh chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So after from 7 to 12 chapters, this bhakti yoga will describe. And here Prabhupada is giving us the equivalent of this verse in the Bhakti Sutra, how the Bhakti person Bhakti or in Krishna consciousness can achieve the same position. So the soul is Anandmaya Abhyasat, or is always looking for pleasure. In the yoga system, as described in this chapter, there are two kinds of samadhi called sampragnata samadhi and asampragnata samadhi. When one becomes situated in transcendental position by various philosophical searches, it is said to be achieved sampragnata samadhi. In the Ansaprana Samadhi, there is no longer any connection with mundane pleasure, for one is then transcended to all sorts of happiness derived from the senses. So, this two type of Samadhi are there. The first Samadhi, what happens in Samadhi is one comes to the position by various philosophical searches that this is right or this is wrong or this is good or bad. So, like this, he does many searches of philosophical things and then he comes to the position. And the Samsajata Samadhi is that he does not have any connection with Indian pleasure. So he's situated in trance and all sorts of happiness that derive from the senses. He is out of this. So he's transcendental to all such sorts of happiness and he is situated in happiness derived from the transcendental things. So when the yogi is once situated in a transcendental position, he is never shaken from it. So this is where we need to reach, where one is in the transcendental position always, and then nothing shakes him. Unless the yogi is able to reach this position, he's unsuccessful. So one has to reach, otherwise one will not be successful. Today's so-called yoga practice, which involves various sense pleasure, is contradictory. So today we see so many people are doing yoga practices, but it is just physical activity to keep the body fit so that they can enjoy more and more. So that is not good. A yogi indulging in sex and intoxication is a mockery. Even those yogi who are attracted by the siddhis, perfections in the process of yoga, are not perfectly situated. If the yogis are attracted by the byproducts of yoga, then they cannot attain the stage of perfection as stated in this verse. Persons therefore indulging in the makeshift practice of gymnastic feats or siddhis should know that the aim of yoga is lost in that way. So here also see the yoga is not attracted by byproducts like good health and all things. So main thing is yoga means connection to the Lord. So that is the main thing. Others all temporary or byproducts. If one gets, it's good. Otherwise, no problem. The best practice of yoga in this age is Krishna consciousness, which is not baffling. A Krishna conscious person is so happy in his occupation that he does not aspire after any other happiness. So this is a perfection state of Krishna consciousness where one is happy and one does not look after any other happiness. There are many impediments, especially in this age of hypocrisy, to practice Hatha Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, but there is no such problem in executing Karma Yoga or Bhakti Yoga. So if you see in the material world now, nowadays, if you want to practice anything like Hatha Yoga, Dhyana or Jnana Yoga, first of all, we need a good body, which is not available in today's time. We see that the age of 20, 30, so many people have started so many diseases now. So the body itself is not capable. Then what to speak about reading so many books? And if there is body, the knowledge is not there. So we do not find panditas who are expert uh, in chanting so many mantras and have read the books, and so many things are not there, and therefore these things cannot be practiced. But karma yoga, bhakti yoga can be practiced easily because it can be done at home also. Whereas for doing Ashtanga yoga, you need to go to jungle and do so many things. So practically, not many jungles are left. And if somebody goes also, he's not that he is out of fear or something. No, he'll be very fearful, and so therefore this is not practical. So as long as the material body exists, one has to meet the demands of body, namely eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. So these things need to be done if the material body is there. But a person who is in pure bhakti yoga or in Krishna consciousness does not arouse the senses while meeting the demands of the body. Very important line. See here, very important. But the person who is in bhakti yoga or in Krishna consciousness does not arouse the senses while meeting the demands of the body. So somebody may eat good things, but he's not attracted by the good things. He will eat only so that the body and soul can be kept together. In that sense, what happens is he will eat whatever he gets. He will not be after that, I want pakoda only, I want sweet only. No. Whatever he gets, he will be happy. That means he's not arousing the senses, but at the same time he's meeting the demands of the body. So he's giving proper food and shelter. He's giving water. He's giving water in it to the body, but he's not arousing the senses. In today's time, what is happening is whatever is being done, whatever advertisement are done, whatever media or whatever something is said, just simply arouse our senses. Oh, eat this. Oh, taste this. Oh, see this. So their only aim is to arouse the senses and thereby sell their products. If you see any ad like of shaving cream or any ad, at the last what will happen? The people will smile. There was one ad that I don't know how it goes. I don't know remember exactly, but the person is smoking and the person is smoking and beside him there is a car, there's a whole building which comes and there's one Mataji comes to him and it has been shown. So when you smoke, when you do this or that, what happens is uh, so many things come to you. So constantly they're arousing the senses, and by doing this, why they want to sell the products. But when one is completely in Krishna consciousness, what happens is the senses are not aroused. At the same time, doesn't mean that one remains hungry, one does not see anything, one does not smell anything, one does not eat anything. No, he does everything. But just to keep the body and soul together, he does not arouse the senses, but he maintains all the body and senses. That's all. That is being done. And that is the difference between uh, bhakta and abhakta. That is, a bhakta or devotee will maintain the senses, but he will be just an observer. He will see that my uh, the hands are touching or legs are touching, but he will not identify himself with the mind or hands or legs. He will be completely aloof at the same time do the work. So rather he accepts the bad necessity of life, making the best use of bad bargain. And this can be done only when we keep our demands to the minimum. So that can be only the only way. And therefore he enjoys happiness in Krishna consciousness. He is callous towards incidental occurrence such as accidents, disease, scarcity, uh, and even to the death of the most dear ones. See, this is very important. He scholars, but is always alert to the execute his duties in Krishna consciousness or Bhakti Yoga. So, sometime back we saw that so many people were debating on the this Ahmedabad plane accident. So, if we see from the mundane perspective, it was very bad, and uh, so so people happen everything. But on spiritual perspective, if we see, then one need to be cautious. So one is not one does not lament even for the living or nor for the dead. So whatever happens in this world, one is not disturbed, one does not lament, and he's cautious. He does not mind these things are happening. Uh, or he disregards all these things that such accidents occur, such disease come, scarcity come. So in this world, if we see if there is some accident, there is some disease, some scarcity, whole there will be chaos everywhere. And especially if there is death, people will go here and there, find out the reason, so much things are some done. But for spiritual practitioners, they will understand this is God's will, and somehow or the other, anyways, the death will come to everybody, and this is the way it has came. So let us take it as precious mercy and then do our devotional service. So whatever material impediments come, accidents, disease, scarcity, and even death. So one person who is in Krishna consciousness will transcend all these things and do his bhakti.
So if we know a tree, it is told to us that Trinada Bismishna Taroreva Sahishruna. So like a tree, one should be very much tolerant. So what is the quality of this tree? Is even if somebody throws a stone, suppose there is a mango tree, somebody throws a stone, see it will give a mango, juicy mango. It will not give that, oh, you have stone and throw, you have thrown a stone on me, let me give you some other thing. No, it will give the mango. And second, even if somebody is not watering the tree, it will not ask for water. It will die, but it will never ask for anything. Similarly, it is expected from devotee that that devotee will not ask for anything, but just give, 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 give. So that is the highest perfection of devotional service. So this is how one is callous, but at the same time, one is always alert in his duties to execute Krishna. So one will be alert in Japa, Bhagavatam, and all things will be very, very alert, but not others. So accidents never deviate him from his duty. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 2.40, Agama Payanityastam Titisha Bharata. He endures all such incidental occurrences because he knows that they come and go and do not affect his duties. In this way, he achieves the highest perfection in yoga practice. There are two duties. One is the duty of the body and one is the duty of the soul. So he does his duty of the soul very well. At the same time, he tries to do the duty of the body to the best extent possible. So one maybe call us to the material duties, but one should never be lethargic for his spiritual duties. So chanting the daily quota for rounds, reading, hearing, attending morning program, whatever be our duty, we should do it very diligently. And the more one is fixed up, the more one is not disturbed in doing all the activities, defines the progress of that person, that how the devotee is in progress. Suppose we are doing japa and the whole japa, the thought comes that, oh, they said like this, or they like this, or I will do this. That means still a far, far, far way to go. We need to work on our mind and senses long way. So now again, in this verse number 24 to 32, how one can attain perfection Ashtanga Yoga is given. And then in verse number 24 and 24, 5. So method to attain Yoga Aruda stage is given, that how one can attain that stage. So what one needs to do is given in the two verses. So let us see verse number 24. स निश्चयेन योक्तव्य योग निर्विन्न चेतसा संकल्प प्रभवान कामान् त्यक्ता सर्वान् शेषतः मनसैवेन्द्रियाग्रामं विनियम्य समन्यत समन्तत. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not be deviated from the path. So very important thing, one should have faith in what one is doing. If one is practicing devotional service but one does not have faith, he will not get results. So one should engage oneself in practice of yoga. For us is bhakti yoga, with determination that I will do, I will achieve my goal. We should have such determination and that faith also, and then not be deviated. We should never be deviated from a path. Whatever path we have taken, that is taken for life. Like Rukmini Devi, when she gives the letter to Krishna, the love letter she sends to Krishna. In that she writes that I will only marry you. And if I don't get you, then I will do tapasya. And then I will give my body. Then again, next life I'll do tapasya. Then again, I will give up body. Till the time I don't get you, I will just do tapasya to achieve you. But I will never ever go to anyone else. So this is the way devotee also thinks. He thinks that I will do my chanting, hearing, and praise the Lord in this lifetime and go back to earth. And if it's not happening, I will again take birth, again do my devotional service, and again please the Lord. So till the time I don't get the Lord, I will just practice, practice, and practice, and never go to another path. Oh, I cannot get Krishna. Let me go and get Ganeshji because he can we can get easily Ganeshji. No, he does not change in his that these are deities. No, he does not change. he is always be undeviated. He can never be deviated from path. And one should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses on all sides by the mind. So uh, one should abandon all the material desires. So like we have so many material desires actually, and we should try to not to fulfill such desires. And this way we should control the senses on all sides by the mind. So we should make mind our friend and then control our senses. Prabhupada, the yoga practitioners should be determined and should patiently prosecute the practice without deviation. So whatever practice one do, should one do without in deviation. So one practical thing is that one cannot directly engage mind actually. So what one needs to do is engage the senses in the transcendent loving sense of Lord, like seeing the Lord, cleaning the floor, or doing some stuff. In this way, the mind will gradually be controlled. So one should be sure of success at the end and pursue this course with great perseverance, not becoming discouraged if there is any delay in the attainment of success. So very important thing that in material life we don't know whether we are will be successful or not. We don't know. But spiritual life, if we are doing our practices nicely, as told by our Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru, whatever the case may be, then one will definitely achieve success. Success will come in the end. We don't know when the success will come. Maybe in this life or in next life. We don't know. But success is guaranteed. And whatever practices we do in devotional service in this life, it will be carried over to next life. There is no denying of this fact. And we see now also. So recently, one of the temple in Amravati we had. So one Neela guy, she was very injured. She came inside, did not harm anybody, took darshan of Lord, and then went outside and left the body. So we see that even in the animal species, somebody is born, if he has done some devotion service, then that devotion is being retained somehow or other by because of some things that birth is being given in animal. So some years back also, in one of the places, we had a cow. So the cow used to come and attend the lectures. And the cow could understand Hindi. So when the lecture would be in Hindi, she would hear the whole class with all, and she knows that she's Mataji. So the cow should sit with the Mataji, attend the whole lecture, and then leave. And whenever the speaker would be in English, then she would drift because she would not understand English. Then she will go. And after some time, some butcher was trying to take her to a butchering, and the owner did not give. So what did the butcher did is put some acid on the cow. So then she could not come for the program and all. The devotees were surprised that why she is not come, because she was so regular that the cow would come for Mangalati daily. And even if the place is changed or something is changed, she would come to know that where the Mangalati is going on. So somehow or other, the cow used to come daily. And when this thing happened, then the devotees searched at what happened, why she is not coming. And they came to know the thing. And then they treated with the best of medicine, everything. And then this cow was so encouraged that she started preaching and brought so many other cows also. And in this way, so many cows started coming to the temple. And then after some time, she gave birth to calf and everything, and then she left her body. But this is what it means, that one is sure to be success. Whatever may happen, one should just persevere. If when some mistakes, something happens, and like Bharat Maharaj, because of the attachment to deer, he got next life as deer. Something happened, but the devotion will always be protected. And therefore, one should never become discouraged, even there is delay. And there can be delay, but one should see that we will definitely be successful. There is no denying. And we have seen so many cases that some devotee was practicing and then he left, but at the end he came back and he said that I saw Prabhupada, or Prabhupada told me come back. So like this, we saw so many cases, and that was success is sure for the rigid practitioner. So we should be definitely be thinking that I will definitely achieve success. There is no point in arguing that will not success. No, definitely, we'll definitely achieve success. So in material life, we don't know whether we'll achieve success or not. But in spiritual life, Even if our body goes, something happens to us, there are no material impediments for practicing bhakti. So in Russia, in China, in so many places, so many years back, nobody would be able to practice devotions openly. Still, we see that so many devotees, so many people became devotees. And underground, outward, they did so many chanting, hearing, and distributed books, and so many things they did. So in Russia, what they would do is they would print a book and keep it near bus stop anywhere, and they'll go from there. So any new person will come, he'll see the book, he will read the book, and will like the book, and he'll start devotional. So if the two devotees are sitting next to, they will not know that they both are devotees, because such was the case that if somebody comes to know that you are practicing devotional service, then you'll be killed, you'll be put in a prison, and so many 30 torture will be done. So in such circumstances also, the devotees have grown, the devotional service has grown. And therefore we say there is no impediment, and therefore we say that there is sure success. One needs only to practice it diligently. That is only his role to do. Otherwise, he'll be successful. So regarding Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami says, Utsaha nishchaya dharya tat tat karma pravartanan sangatyagat sato vritti sadpir bhakti prasiddhyati. One can execute the process of Bhakti Yoga successfully with full-hearted enthusiasm, utsaha, then perseverance, nischay, and dharya, nischay determination, then dharya. So, by following the prescribed duties in the association of devotees and by engaging completely in the activities of goodness. So, this is also important. One can practice only in the association of devotees. And second, by engaging completely in the activities of goodness. So in the mode of passion and in the mode of ignorance, actually the bhakti does not take place. So one can start the bhakti in the mode of ignorance and passion, but one cannot maintain in the mode of ignorance and passion. One need to gradually come to the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness only we can practice bhakti yoga. In other modes we cannot. So Tamsi Bhakti and Rajoguni Bhakti is not Bhakti at all. Actually, that is Nama Aparadha. So therefore, gradually, water activities maybe we need to shift it to activities in the mode of goodness. And what is this mode of goodness and ignorance and passion is all given in further chapters, 14th chapter and further 16th chapter and further this all things is given in detail. As for determination, one should follow the example of sparrow who lost her eggs in the waves of the ocean. A sparrow laid her eggs on the shore of the ocean, but the big ocean carried away the eggs on its wave. The sparrow became very upset and asked the ocean to return her eggs. The ocean did not even consider her appeal. So the sparrow decided to dry up the ocean. So see, the sparrow, she laid her eggs and the ocean took away. See her determination. She said, I will drive the ocean. If you see the sparrow in one beak, what she will, can carry? One drop, two drop. And with that, the rivers are coming in plenty. How can one dry up the ocean? Impossible. But see the determination. She began to pick out the water in a small beak. And everybody laughed at her for her impossible determination. It's not possible. So when we start our devotion, so many people laugh. Oh, what are you doing? It's impossible to attain Lord. Who is doing? But what happens? The news of our activity spread, and at last Garuda, the gigantic bird carrier of the Lord Vishnu, heard it. He became compassionate towards his small sister bird, and so he came to see the sparrow. The Garuda was very pleased by the determination of the small sparrow, and he promised to help. Thus, the Garuda at once asked the ocean to return the eggs, lest he himself take up the work of the sparrow. The ocean was frightened and at this has and done returned the eggs. Thus the sparrow became happy by the grace of Garuda. So this is our position. Exactly this is our position. We try by our small efforts to please the Lord, and it's only by the Lord's mercy that we will achieve success. But to attract Lord's mercy, we need to put our endeavors. In this case, the sparrow herself cannot do anything. He cannot drive the ocean. But she was determined. She gave the efforts. She took the efforts. And seeing the efforts of sparrow, Garuda ji came. So the efforts of sparrow are tiny, very tiny. not much, but seeing the efforts, the Garuda came. Similarly, our efforts are not much, but when we do our efforts to please Guru Maharaj, to please Krishna, what happens? Because Krishna is pleased, he comes and he will take us. That is called when the Damodar happens, two fingers short. One is our endeavor, and second is Krishna's mercy. So Krishna is so merciful that he will take up, but he wants to see how much determined are we and how much we are eager to go to him. And then he will do the needful. Similarly, the practice of yoga, especially Bhakti Yoga and Krishna consciousness, may appear to be a very difficult job. So one may think it's very difficult every day, get up in the morning, chant japa, and do so many things. And sometimes actual bhakti starts after 5 or 10 years. Initially, everything is new. We like to chant the mantra. We like to hear different books. We like to go to different places because everything is new. But after 10 years, when we have seen Vrindavan, we have seen Mayapur, we have seen all the holy places, we know the details. We are chanting, we know all the Mangal Aarti, everything, and we know everything. Then the test comes, are we practicing still or we leave it because it's now become monotonous? So that is the time when the test comes. And that is the time that one should think that how we should do things. So it may be very difficult, but if anyone follows the principles with great determination, the Lord will surely help. For God helps those who help themselves. But if one tries, then gradually Krishna will help us and give that ruchi or trace so that we can go to him very quickly. So Krishna is always handling us. Krishna is always encouraging us. Krishna is always taking care of us. We need to just look out for him, and then the things will happen. So now in 25th verse, the final stage is written how of coming to trance, what happens and how is done. शनै शनैर् उपरमेत् बुद्ध्या देति गृहीति गृहीतया आत्मसंस्थामन कृत्वा न किंचित् अपि चिन्तयेत्. Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, situated in full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else. So everything will happen gradually, every day, day after day, month after month, year after year, practicing bhakti gradually, step by step. One should become situated in trance by means of intelligence. So you should use intelligence and then sustained by conviction. So intelligence is convinced that, oh, whatever I am doing is best for me. So any devotee, or maybe of Shiva's devotee or any devotee, should think that I am doing the best and I am doing the bhakti of the great devotee. Because if one does not have such faith, one will not be able to practice devotion, one will not be able to do bhakti. Suppose one goes to a doctor and asks that, or doctor or hospital and asks that who is the best doctor here for treating fever or anything. And the hospital says that, the doctor in the hospital next to us is very good. And sometimes other patient comes, asks that who is the best ENT. So again, the hospital says that the best ENT is next to our hospital. Then the person will say, why I have come to you? Let me go to that hospital. Similarly, if we see the Shiv Puran, it will glorify Shivji. If we see the Vishnu Puran, it will glorify Vishnu. If we see Bhagavad Puran, it will glorify Krishna. So if that Purana will not glorify the person, how will somebody become a devotee? And therefore, we should not fight or have conflict that, oh, Shiv Purana is saying Shivji is the best, Bhagavatam says Krishna is best. No, it is best for the devotee who are practicing. And therefore, we should read our books. We should not read other books. We should read our Bhagavatam, BhagavadGita, Chaitanya. These are our books because they are related to pure bhakti, they are related to Krishna. And we should not read Shiv Puran. Shiv Puran is meant for the bhaktas of Shivji. They should read that and derive pleasure and nourishment and should practice their own path. And similarly, Krishna Bhaktas should practice their path. And therefore, different scriptures are given so that different people may practice their own path and thus they all reach their respective destination. In material also we see that somebody is a student of a medical college, will not go to the College of Engineering and say that, oh, this is bad. He will study his books, and the person in the engineering college will study his books. So there is no problem, there is no fight. But in spiritual circles, always say that, oh, this is better, this is no. Nothing like this. Everybody has his own goal and destination. Similarly, whatever is good should one do. So by mind and full conviction. So this is a conviction that whatever I am doing is best for me and I should continue doing it. And thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should not think of something else. So mind should be fixed and then only one can do the bhakti and should not think of so many other things. Purport. By proper conviction and intelligence, one should gradually cease sense activities. So one should be convinced that sense activities are not good, and using the intelligence, one should gradually cease. So one should never do anything abruptly. Like one person was smoking around 60 cigarettes in a day, and suddenly he thought that I will stop smoking. So what will happen? Then there will be withdrawal systems, and again he will start smoking more cigarettes. Similarly, one person wanted that I will not eat any sweets. So he said, and he liked gulab jamun so much. So for so many days he did not eat anything. And one day he could not control himself and he ate 20 gulab jamuns in one day. So we cannot do anything abruptly, and so that we should do in gradually. One should gradually see sensitivity. So from 60 cigarettes one is smoking, one can come to maybe 55 in 1 week, then 50, and gradually one can do the things. And similarly, one should also practice devotional service gradually and gradually give up sense activities one by one, not abruptly. Otherwise, one will not be successful. This is called pratyahara, or withdrawing the senses. And the mind being controlled by the conviction, meditation, and cessation from senses should be situated in trance or samadhi. At that time, there is no longer any danger of becoming engaged in material conception of life. Then one will never come again back to material life. In other words, although one is involved with matter as long as the material body exists, one should not think about sense gratification. So it is very important. Still the time we have material body, we need to eat, we need to do so many things. So this will always be there. So, but one should do these things as an observer, not being attached to it, and one should not think of sense gratification. So one should think of no pleasure aside from the pleasure of Supreme Self. This state is easily attained by directly practicing Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada what he does is he explains the verses, and then what he does is he compares it how Krishna consciousness can do a similar thing in a better way. Or one can become a devotee and can do the things in a better way. So this is how Prabhupada gives the purport, so that we can understand the things in a devotional perspective and we can be more enlightened. So I think we'll stop here. Thank you very much.